Hey everyone, welcome to the show here. This is your man James, aka the Sequential Rationalist. I wish I could say this was going to be a fun one for us, but I don't really think it is. It's actually one I'm kind of sorry to be making, but something just went down, and I think it really needs to be spoken upon because it's just one of those things, that just to give a little backstory on this. As some of you may know, with Comicsgate, Ethan Van Sciver, and some others, um, Mike S. Miller had a falling out with Ethan a while ago, and they take little kneeling shots at each other every once in a while. It's to be expected. It's how it works in the age of the internet, I suppose. But the beef that they seem to have has crossed to a line that I think should never be crossed. Last night, Ethan did a live stream with Cecil, and they poked fun at Mike and Doug TeNapel doing a perk on their crowdfunders called Support the Troops. And it wasn't to make fun of the troops, but to make fun of the fact that they're acting as though what they're doing on the crowdfunder is them supporting the troops, when really it's their supporters who are supporting the troops, because nothing is being given on behalf of the artists. They're not giving up anything for free to the troops. It's people who are supporting them paying so that the stuff can be sent to the troops. And they kind of mocked it a little bit and made fun of it. You can take issue with that. You can think that maybe they shouldn't have went there. That's up to you to decide. I can't make that decision for you. But Mike decided to respond to it, and the way he responded to it, what he did, is so beyond the pale that it stymies me. And I'm going to give you some more information about Mike and some other stuff after you see this, because this is just this is just, again, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. So got to share the screen here, but it was just it was just words fail me. So I'm going to show you this video response that Mike made to Ethan. And I should warn you, if you have small children around or whatever, you might not want to let them see this. As you watch it, you'll understand. And especially if you're a parent, you'll understand why. So let me just share this up here. And here we go. I'm going to let this play in its entirety so that you can see everything. I'm not going to make any comments. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let this play.
Out of the way so we can get this going here. Get that nice. Yeah, get those pages open there. Get it good. Toasty going.
Wait, there's no clothes.
No, you can leave it open.
Right? Oh. The head.
Stance? Kind of got to spread it open a little bit. It doesn't want to quite burn right.
Hey,
Maybe I can get it in a better angle here.
Hey, it's my book. It's
There
mine.
we go. That's a good angle.
No, it's my book. It's mine.
That's all right.
He died there at school.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Hey, Daddy. Smells.
Oh, mine?
Uh-huh.
Roasting frog books on an open fire.
Whoa!
Ah, there we go. Now that's foil.
Hey, Daddy, try it.
Warm.
Ooh, it's sit down. Hey, Daddy, how about scary stories?
Scary story.
Uh-huh.
What kind of scary story?
How about werewolf?
Werewolf?
Uh-huh.
Oh, look, there's some extra goodies in here.
Hey, Daddy, here, we'll help.
Throw them in there too.
Here, help.
You want to throw these in there too?
Yeah, here.
Let me open it up first, because we don't want to put plastic in there.
Oh.
Here you go. You go ahead and get those right in the fire, all right? There you go. Good boy.
How about this?
Oh, that's plastic too.
Oh.
I don't know. Might be pretty. Go ahead. Throw it in there.
Oh, no.
That doesn't work. There
Daddy,
we go.
I'll try it.
I got it. Right there.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's fire.
Oh, it smells good.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'll throw a line.
No, don't throw your line in there.
Why?
Because the line is valuable.
Oh. Ah. Try it. Come on, say it to me.
Right.
Oh.
Whoa! Look at that. Oh, scary.
Whoa. Look. See fire.
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy. Hey, Daddy. Look.
I don't need to believe you.
Hey, let me.
Oh, that's trippy. Card doesn't seem to be getting much of
Hey,
that.
Daddy.
Lamps in there. All right, let's get right in.
Okay.
There we go.
Hey, Daddy. How about this one?
No, we're not throwing things in the fire that are important.
Why?
Just all the garbage in the world.
Hey, do not blow up. Try it.
Nah, we're okay. All right, I think we're done here.
Hey, Daddy, I see your mirror. I see it.
See what? See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Hiya.
Hey, Daddy.
Yeah. All right, get your head out of the fire, goofball. And that's it.
Upwork has the world's largest network of independent professionals with experience for any scope. It's like having a top-rated developer right here. What are you working on? PHP, HTML? Oh, it's Rust. Rust. Yeah, it's syntactically similar.
So there you go. He burned a book that was for his child, that was sent to him by Ethan. This is his response. This is what he did. And he did it in front of his child. You saw the child crying that it's my book. And he said, oh, it's all right. I'm at a loss for words. That a man would do that to something that is his child's. Now, Mike has come out late on this and just said that it wasn't really his child's book. His child is a special needs child, and they always say everything is mine, as if somehow that makes it better. Whether that's true or not, I can't say. But to do what he did in front of his child, his special needs child, what kind of message is that? What kind of lesson is that to your child? If that child grows up and decides, I'm going to burn things when I get angry, who do you blame for that, Mike? You know, who's the responsible one for that, Mike? Or if that is the kid's book and he just destroyed his own son's property, what does that teach that kid? That's going to stick with him a long time, what he did. Did you think about that, Mike? Did that matter to you when you did it? Did you let your child see that, not realizing or not caring? You know, we all can get into internet beefs. I've been in a few myself. But I would never drag a child into it like that. That's just not done. That crosses a line. And you know, I've always been one who's tried to make comics something great for children, not something to be used to denigrate or show hatred towards someone else. You know, I've done quite a few conventions in my time. I've done some appearances in shops for like Free Comic Book Day and things like that. And I always give away free comics to kids at all those events because I want them to have the love of comics that I've had for over 3 decades. You know, and it goes even deeper than that. There was this one time I read a story online about a little boy named Danny Nickerson. He was about to celebrate his 6th birthday, and it was likely to be his last one as he was ill. So his parents just put out this notice to people, hoping it would go viral, and just asking them if you had some Spider-Man comics or toys or something and you wanted to send them to Danny to do so. So I went through my personal collection of autographed comics, a long box full of them, in fact, and dug out several ones that were Spider-Man related. And I packaged them up with a little handwritten note I gave to Danny himself, telling him how brave he was, how Spider-Man's a favorite character of mine too, and how these were some awesome books I had autographed by the creators of those books, and that he could have them now, and I hope that he got enjoyment from them. See, that's the kind of thing you want to do with comics with children. Or the time I went to a convention in 2003, and Spider-Man artist Mark Bagley was there, and I was very excited because I've always liked Mark's work. I had him do a sketch for me, in fact. And when I came back to the table before I was getting ready to leave the show to pick up my sketch, these 2 kids came running up, a boy and a girl. They were probably, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe around 8 or 9. Couldn't be older than 10. And they were excited too, because he was their favorite artist. And they put down some books in front of him to sign, and the girl asked Mark, "Hey, can you draw us a drawing of Spider-Girl?" And Mark was like, "You know, I would, but I didn't bring any paper." And me, whenever I went to shows, I always knew that that was a possibility, so I always brought my own sketch pad. And without even thinking about it, I grabbed my pad, I said, "Hold on, Mark," and I tore out a page and I handed it to him so he could do the sketch for those kids. And as I was looking at the pile of comics they had to autograph, they were mostly Ultimate Spider-Man, you know, which was probably the newest work Mark was working on at the time. And I noticed they didn't have an issue that I did. I had brought and got signed. And I looked at the boy and I said, "Hey, I see you don't have issue 7 of Ultimate Spider-Man." And he's like, "No, we weren't able to get that one." And so I reached into my bag and pulled out my copy and gave it to him and said, "Well, you got it now." And the look on his eyes, you know, of just pure joy and surprise at getting that book. You know, to me, that's what you want to impart to children about comic books. That kind of magic. You know, those kids at that show will always remember that show as the cool day when they got to meet their favorite artist who drew them a sketch. And there was this nice guy at the table who gave them a comic they didn't have just so they could have it. Maybe that will give them that love that I've had for comics all these years. And that's what you'd want to impart, I think, to a child, not what you just saw here from Mike S. Miller. And this is a man that purports to be a Christian. I myself, I wouldn't say I'm deeply religious, but I do believe in God. I was raised Christian. I know what it's all about. And I know that what Mike did there is as far from Christian as you could ever want to get. All over an internet beef. Dragging his child into an internet beef. What kind of Christian is that? I know some people don't care for Ethan. They don't like his humor. They don't like his beliefs. They don't like, the way he comports himself sometimes. I know Ethan can be immature. I mean, we all can. But I don't think Ethan would ever destroy a child's property like that to own someone on the internet. I don't think he would show such disregard to the child when they're crying, that's mine, that's my book, and they're seeing it burn. I don't think he could sit there and do something like that to a child. But that Mike could. The man who purports to be the devout Christian. Is it any wonder so many have lost the faith in this country over the last few decades? I don't know if Mike's going to see this. Maybe he will. I'm going to put links out later. Hopefully it goes viral. Hopefully others will see it. And if you know Mike, please give him a link to this. Let him see it. He needs to see it. But Mike, you done messed up, boy. You done messed up big. You may have thought you were sticking it to Ethan Van Sciver, but the only person you stuck it to was yourself and your child. Your special needs child, according to you. And I don't know what else there is to say, really, except that that's not how I was raised. That's not the kind of father I knew who would do something like that. And that you did it not just so callously, but joyfully, laughing, having a good time. What you've imparted to your son is hatred. What you imparted to him is callousness towards others when they don't agree with you, when they don't say things you like. This is going to stick with him a long, long time, Mike. A very long time. Longer than you may realize. My father always told me that, he molded me in ways he never even realized. And that's why I'm the man I am today. The kind of man who would send some autographed comics of my own to a sick child, who would give up a piece of sketch paper and an autographed comic to some kids at a comic convention, who would hand out free comics to kids at events that I go to and do. That's how I was raised. That's what was imparted to me from my father. What are you imparting to your child, Mike? What are they learning from what you did today? Did you think about that? Do you even care? because I'm not so sure you do. And that's the saddest part of all. I feel sorry for your child. They shouldn't have had to witness this. Witness their father going to such degrading depths over an internet beef. But that you thought that was okay. Well, don't you? Probably not the ones you thought you were, but it's volumes nonetheless. Anyway, I had to get this out. Like I said, I felt it was important because I was just so disturbed by what I saw. I mean, to do that, and to do that in front of your child, your special needs child. I cannot even fathom such a thing from a so-called Christian. So I guess I'll just end this here and just say that for any of you who watch, for any of you who see this, I hope you learn from this what not to do, how not to be, because this is how we get to where so many things have gone wrong in our society, where petty internet beefs become something much greater and cause us to lose sight of the important values that really truly matter to us as a people, as a nation. You know, and yeah, I guess that's all I got to say. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I'll be back soon with something a little more positive, a little more interesting. Till then, take care.